Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so obviously the title is, and I say obviously because you guys can read, Overcoming Workplace Drama. There have been some new things that have unfolded throughout this experience that I kind of wanted to share with you guys, because a lot of times when you're the one that's not causing the problem, situations do end up like this, right? Especially when folks think that their value is more than what it is, right? I'm going to tell you guys now, negativity within the workplace, if you're someone who gossips a lot, um just super negative, always complaining, and you're very vocal about it, that causes your value to diminish, no matter if you're telling the truth, no matter what your reasoning is for it. People are aware that you do it. And if you're someone that bumps heads with people on a consistent basis and you're engaging in these kinds of behaviors, you can bet your bottom dollar that no matter how much you feel you are deserving of a raise, the company is going to look at that and look at how you interact and what kind of culture you're helping to establish and or create. And that's not necessarily the best person to promote, to elevate, and it doesn't allow for a very positive culture, one in which a person is flexible, adaptable, stuff like that. So the negativity within the workplace, the high school type behavior, um, does get clocked. Folks are fully aware. One of the golden rules I always like to say is, if you're gossiping about me, I can bet your bottom dollar that you're gossiping about other people, right? Um, and that's usually the case. Most times that is the case. So in this situation, again, I'm a black woman, so I've experienced this more than what people would, like to admit. Where I've had women who were, trying to gang up on me, who didn't like me for whatever reason, and really went out of their way to try to get me fired or whatever the case may be. This dynamic was a little different. One, because I moved a little different than I normally would have, right? So a lot of times, and I've explained this before, I was not invested in the job enough to want to play the game, right? In this situation, like I say, they're paying me well. It's a good company to work for. I know, like, when I'm having like stressful days or whatever, I'm able to take the time off. I got PTO pretty much right away. And so there's a lot of things about this company that I recognize and I don't take for granted. Um, being that, what am I trying to say here? Being that there's not a lot of companies that are ran like this, right? So it was important for me to figure it out, because while I'm not expecting my position to, while I'm not expecting my position to, be super long term, I am wanting to use it to elevate certain aspects of my life, and I feel like I can. So I have a why for why I'm at this job, right? And it seems like, for me, because there is an incentive to want to work for this company, I have been more willing to learn how to play the office politics game. Okay. With that being said, I rarely engage in conflict at work. I have no problem standing up for myself. I have no problem correcting things that I feel like need to be corrected. But really, I mind my business, I do my work, and I go home. That's me. Okay. I'm not really there for socializing, although I do socialize, right? But not to the extent as I've seen others, right? And I think because it's kind of obvious, like I've got my shit together, it ruffles people the wrong way, right? I'm black, I'm pretty, I'm young, I'm successful. Those four things, for whatever reason, rub certain women the wrong way. I don't get it. So I'm dealing with a dynamic where a woman was sorry y'all, I saw a phone number on my screen, but it's y'all. Um, so I was dealing with a situation where these women were, doing their thing, whatever. And eventually it's gotten to a point, because one of the strategies that I chose to utilize was just perfecting my craft, right? Perfecting my work while being respectful. Like, I don't need to be best friends with you. I don't need to kiss your ass, but I will be respectful, right? I will be kind, right? With that being said, I've really worked hard to perfect my craft, to give my boss what it is that she needs and is looking for, right? Because I'm in a situation where folks have seniority. They have a lot of it. They built rapport with the folks there. A lot of them are family. So, I mean, whatever. So I was up against a lot of these dynamics that were already there prior to me stepping in. But given the fact that I have an incentive to want to stay with this company, I decided that I was going to increase my value. I kind of had a lot of pushback in my mind, right? Kind of questioned my position while I was dealing with this stuff. But like I said, it's not a company where they have a history of people just bombing out, right? So I worked through this process. I said, okay, I'm gonna focus on me. I'm not, going back into high school. Nobody put their hands on me. I'm good, right? I'm grown. I've got my own life outside of work. I'm good. I perfect my craft. One of these girls tried to pull some nonsense recently where it had to be established vocally that my position is higher than everybody else's. And the reason for that is I think these girls felt like, okay, we're connected. So and so is our family. We're over hanging out at people's houses. We've got a little bit more pull. Let's see if we can get Sierra out. Well, that backfired. Okay. Now one of the women are quitting. And so it's almost like a relief for me, because I'm like, shoot, I don't have to deal with unnecessary drama. It's almost like if you can't beat them, join them. And if you can't join them, kick rocks, right? That's just the reality that we live in right now. Why are we driving so slow? I am driving below the speed limit and just trying to figure out why. Golly. So I overcame, I didn't get wrapped into all the drama, although it's very insightful for me to see all this take place and know that I've been able to I feel like for the most part, I'm usually able to keep a cool head. That I did not allow people who I feel like if I really had to measure up are beneath me. I didn't allow them to pull me down with them. Um, so to see this woman quit, and it's for a variety of reasons. It's not, I would think that it's not all about me. Like I try not to give myself that much credit. But to see her leave is going to be interesting because the dynamics may change. I actually, I'm almost confident they will change. Almost confident. Again, I'm not looking to take her place or, you know, try to buddy up with people who weren't my friend as a result of being, you know, influenced by this person. But I will say that folks are going to have to start standing on their own. They're going to have to be their own woman. Okay. I think it's an interesting dynamic. I'm excited for the opportunities that may arise as a result of. Um, Definitely do not want to take on her job, but I know that I will be. So I'm just kind of like looking at, okay, what does this look like 5-6 years from now, right? Or 5-6 months from now, excuse me. So that's the position I've been put in. Like I say, the mean girl shit at work, when you're dealing with someone who kind of knows how to navigate through stuff like that, that shit don't work. It works in spaces. And what I've also learned, because I've stated before that management is not always the best. They're not always trained to see those things. You have some businesses whose motto is, you know, we're family, right? No, and usually what that is code word for, if we don't like you, then we are going to, what can I say? If we don't like you, then you shouldn't work here type stuff. A lot of that goes on in the workspace. And it's unfortunate because you've got a lot of companies that are losing good employees, valuable employees. Well, I wouldn't say valuable. Maybe the company hasn't recognized it yet. I don't know. For the sake of likes, like liking somebody. And it's like, just because you don't like me doesn't mean I'm not qualified to do my job. Now, I could see if somebody came into the workforce and they're mean and they're yelling and they're just super unprofessional. However, my skin color was never a scapegoat to disrespect me. And I've always, anytime I've been in a position where a job felt like they were just going to go with whoever was coming to them and talking about me to them, those were usually jobs that I wanted to leave, that I hated working for. So for Black women too, because it is stressful, right? It's stressful that, you know, you even have to kind of go through some of these things. Especially, like I said, in my situation, I really believe race was at play. The reason being is because there's a certain way in which women react to people of certain races. Okay. And it's intentional. It's kind of, it comes from a jealous space, right? It comes possibly from the thought and the notion that we didn't earn the right to be there and work there. So if you can imagine, this woman is twice my age and being told that my job is higher than hers, that would make me feel some type of way too. I get it. I don't get it, but I understand the thought process. I mean, I don't. Yeah, they thought they was just gonna bully me. No, BMW, you better get behind me, homie. So I overcame it. I overcame that situation. And it's crazy that it's like changing so rapidly too. But that, I really believe that if you can't control the dynamics, you can control what you do. And part of that in the workplace is doing your work at the best ability or the best capability that you can. So that's my take on it, y'all. That's all I really wanted to say. Very interesting. Interesting how this has kind of turned out. Uh, my boss is like, shoot, I'm short. You and another manager that works up there got this. Like, we can do the work. Like, we're good. And I know that they don't want to say it, but there's going to be a bit of relief because there's going to be less drama within the workspace. Less drama, less pushback, right? This was you should have been put on your damn turn signal, idiot. You gonna wait till the last minute knowing you about to turn. That's some stupid shit right there. That's how people be getting hit in the back. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Like I said, I was determined to fight this with my intelligence and not with emotions. I'm not really an emotional person. Okay, I take that back. I'm a Pisces. I'm very emotional. But because I know that people do certain things when I don't know why you're doing something to cause me harm, my assumption is the intent is to see me out of character, to see me sweat, right? And in these times, in these spaces, I'll never allow these people to see me sweat. Ever. Ever. You're never going to get me to cry, yell, nothing. Because the idea is that Black women don't know how to carry themselves. This is why they justify treating us in the manner that they do. So as a result of, it is important to always rise above the bullshit when you in these spaces, because folks are going to try you for whatever reason. They are going to try you. So if you can find, if it ain't nothing else, if it ain't seniority, if it ain't the relationships that you have built within that company, it needs to be your work. The quality of your work needs to be high. I don't go above and beyond. Nope, I'm not doing more than what I was hired to do. But I will do what I was hired to do exceptionally well. And that's how you overcome. You I come in, I'm cordial with everybody. I say good morning to everybody, so there's no, unnecessary conflict about me not saying good morning. So that the conversation can't be, oh, that she's rude. I'm sure these girls have said that about me. However, when I go in, I'm always smiling. I'm steady. So I'm never gonna, give a bitch type energy, right? Even though I be wanting to, right? But I'm also not the girl that's gonna be, if I don't have to talk to you, especially with the situations that I've just experienced, I'm not gonna talk to you. I'll say good morning to you, have a great night, and I'll probably say 2 words to you, smiling and everything, smiling all day, talking to everybody. Maybe not, again, I don't talk a lot, so it's, you know, but I remain cordial, I remain respectful, and I continue to put out a level of quality work, right? So as in 2 years from now, my work ethic is not even going to be a thing. It's not even going to be a question. It's not going to be something that I would have to like focus on or anything like that. Now, what that does is help to build your rapport, help to build your reputation within the workplace, help to establish trust, helps to let your boss know that, hey, you could do the job whether she's holding your hand or not. So that's how you combat that. And again, I wouldn't say it always turns out to where people quit or whatever, but that's usually when somebody realizes that a company is not going for their antics, and they're also in the process of wanting a raise, but the company is refusing to give them that raise. You can probably bet your bottom dollar that if you're the person that they're trying to ask and you increase your value, and the bosses notice it, and they're noticing the work that you put out, man, it's damn, that car is speeding. Mm-mm-mm. I thought I was going fast. I'm going 50. Well, I probably shouldn't say that on camera. That car is going like 100. If they get pulled over, they really going to jail. But anywho, that's all I wanted to say, y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. How have you kind of combated workplace drama, workplace conflict? And do you think playing the politics game is worth it? Like I said, I don't think that it's worth it unless I'm getting compensated properly. I ain't going to be getting paid $50,000 an hour or a year, and you think I'm gonna be putting up with a whole bunch of extra stuff that you're not willing to check. At some point, I'm going to leave that job. It just is what it is. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.